Hello, Darren.
Hi, Darren.
I'm outdoors.
Doesn't look it from here.
Well, let me prove it to you. Here is my paper on my knees, and here are my little...
Just a green carpet. Just a green carpet.
You're indoors. Here is where I
am. There you are.
This is I'm in a garden. I'm in the garden of a little cottage in a village called Knott Grove. There's a big oak above me. In the Cotswolds. That's where I am.
Very posh.
And I have a Wi-Fi booster on an extension lead coming out behind me so as to make this possible. We also are at the mercy of an iPhone battery. But I thought it was an opportunity to do a little bit of what we have been talking about recently, which is painting in situ. I'll paint what's in front of me that way. I'll paint this view. I also think I might do that. I might do this thing that I've been talking to you about recently where, should I do that thing where I try and paint without line?
You mean paint? It's called painting.
Yeah. I'm going to do some.
No, isn't it weird? This is the first time in ages I've decided to roughly put line in first.
Okay, well that's good then. In that case,
isn't that odd?
The thing can be a sort of a slight sort of diversion of our usual styles. Yeah. Okay. So let me explain a little bit what I mean by that then. When I say, I think that there's something about my painting which always owes something to comic art, really.
Yeah.
That essentially what I've always liked is line. And so kind of what I do is I draw a line denoting the that hasn't worked. The line outside an image, so a line being outside someone's head or their or a tree or whatever. I'm still working hard at trying to work away how to do this. Okay, that just about works. But really what we see is we don't see lines, do we? We see one colour or one shade going to another one and stop. And I feel that this is what, quote, proper artists do. And so lately I've been trying a little harder sometimes to just paint and not draw anything out in advance. So, that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to try and paint.
Yeah, it's odd that I decided to draw this one first because I'm always just painting.
I think that would be, the main difference between us, and possibly a reason why mine always takes slightly long because I'm drawing them and then painting them maybe, and you're straight.
Yeah, possibly.
You've got lots going on.
Well, I think when I'm just jumping straight in with the paints, kind of instant. Whereas sometimes I think when you're roughing lines out and stuff first, you've got more opportunity to correct things, and I kind of don't. Once I'm in with the paints, I'm beholden to whatever the paint does.
I'm immediately enjoying the decision.
Yeah.
The one problem with painting in messy watercolor out in a field with the sounds of nature and being as sexy as I am,
of course.
I can't help but hear the music to Cadbury's Flake in the back of my mind.
Flake advert. I've got a CD by a mod band from the 90s called The Clique. I bet our friend Robert Rotterdam's heard of them.
Yeah.
And they do a cover of the Cadbury's Flake tune on it. Can you imagine? It works as kind of a mod tune with big like Hammond organ. Only the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate, like that. Quite funny. Do you remember the Cadbury's Flake advert that had a woman in a bath that was overflowing as she was enjoying the erotic pleasures of eating Cadbury's Flake?
I will.
And that
I don't think you even have to check, don't you? These adverts are tattooed on the back of our minds, aren't they? Being meant.
That's right. Well, that was Roger Taylor's girlfriend.
Oh,
from Queen, not from Duran Duran. I should add. Yeah. Little snippet, and of course, when you're a fan, that stuff matters, doesn't it? Especially when you're a teenage fan. That's Roger Taylor's girlfriend. That
I didn't know it at the time.
It's important.
I was going to talk to you about rejection, artistic or otherwise. The sun is, by the way, is really bleaching out my screen, so I can't.
It looks fine from here.
So I don't mind if every now and then you say, "Could you move your paper up a bit or down a bit?"
No, it's very well defined. Funnily enough, early on in this video, I had to adjust the exposure on mine, and I'm indoors with the curtain shut, and it was too bright. You're doing fine.
Okay.
Tell us about rejection, Darren.
I think I'm quite lucky. I don't think I have to deal with it too often. I think in terms of music, I have a few people that release my records, and I don't really that often try and grow my career by that. Right? Let's send something to someone unsolicited. And so I've sort of designed a sort of life where I don't actually have to get rejected that often.
Yeah.
There's a gallery recently that offered me an exhibition that I think I might have even mentioned here that I was quite excited about. And I've got the little paranoia of the communication having gone quiet for a while. There's one...
have you kept in touch with them?
Well, I'm at the moment I'm doing that thing of making excuses on their behalf. It's August. They're probably on holiday. They're probably busy with other things. I'll email in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine. 9 times out of 10, that kind of catastrophizing turns out to be fine, doesn't it, when you worry about things like that?
Yeah, yeah.
But I can still be hurt by rejection.
Yeah.
I think we live in an age where praise is quite easy to find in a way, isn't it? You put your pictures on Twitter or you put your music on Bandcamp, but by and large, the people that don't like you, the people that would reject you, at the sort of level both of us are, it would take quite a lot of effort for someone to leave a comment saying this is not good. I disapprove.
Would, yeah.
And so I think that's kind of a vacuum that not a vacuum, what's the word? Well, yes, a vacuum of criticism. And likewise,
yeah, well, we might benefit from it sometimes.
Yeah. There's one music journalist who I obviously will not name. I mean, it would be for me to name.
You can tell me after.
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards. And they think they've only reviewed me maybe maybe 3 times over the past 25 years.
Right.
Once very early on, or once about 4 or 5 years ago. And every now and then, if like whoever's doing press for me or someone can give me a heads up, they like, oh,
Yeah.
because that's the name, is reviewing this. I'm like, oh no. And the degree to which what I do annoys them is to such an extent that I genuinely think like I must have at some point like been in a bar or something and like cut in front of them at the bar or spilt their drink or like the only explanation is that some little thing has happened because I can't think of any other explanation for quite why this person who I've never met dislikes me so much. And I absolutely guarantee that this is something I have thought about much, much more than they have, I reckon.
Yes,
unless I'm
I would
wrong.
imagine
Unless,
so.
yeah. But yeah, just every sort of 10 years or so, they obviously are sitting, at their desk, and this record comes in for review, and they're thinking, this guy, he needs to be taken down a peg or two. If you like, though, just to prove that it doesn't, plague my every waking thought, I can even quote you some lines.
Do it.
In the first review they ever wrote of me, which was a review of a live performance, they said that Darren Hayman has all the charisma of a bedwetter.
That's very rude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little.
You
bit
would
rude.
remember that, wouldn't you? You would remember that.
It's not a hard, it's a hard sentence to erase from your brain.
It is. I once got reviewed in a local paper with the word stomach-churningly awful. Which made me laugh, actually. They were kind of right.
Yeah. I think of, well, also naming no names. There's a record label that seems so, I very rarely sort of spread my wings in that way. I very rarely think, who else might be interested?
Yeah.
But there's one record label that is so obviously made for me.
Right.
Like every artist on this label is kind of like me, but not as good. And that's another one that weighs on me sometimes. They've got artists like Darren Damon and his Fearful Villages, and they've got things like this guy that used to be in a band called Hofner, called Danny Hayman. And it seems obvious the sort of artist they're looking for, but no,
yeah,
they never come knocking.
Again, you can fill me in on the details after this because I want to know. I want to see if I can guess, but we'll talk about that on camera.
Yeah, because imagine they're there now and they're thinking, you know what? All this time we've been signing Danny Hayman and his Fearful Villagers, and you know, I think we've been looking at a gift horse in the mouth, lads.
Yeah,
I think I know the artist we need to sign. I think we should sign that Darren Hayman and his Thankful Villagers. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Why didn't we think of that? He's obviously perfect for our record label.
Well, you say that, Jerry. But he's got all the charisma of a bedwetter.
Tell you what, though, just before we offer him a couple of £1,000 in, recording costs, non-recoupable.
Of course.
I see he's got this drawing channel on YouTube. We just have a little look at that first, You never know. He might be saying something untoward about us on there that would completely wreck his chances of ever being on a label with us. Yeah, go on then. Let's have a little look. But I really do want to give him loads of money. I'm sure he won't say anything that would jeopardize his future with us.
No. Up yours, EMI.
Did you go through a phase in your career of sending demo tapes out?
No. I didn't know the first thing about what you did. And by the time I was at a level where I was writing songs I thought were worth putting out there.
There's a spider on my page.
Is there? Can't see it. Oh, yes. Wow. That's very realistic drawing. By the time that I was ready to be sending stuff to record labels and stuff, I felt like I should do, the internet was out and I could sort of release stuff myself. I would still love, there are some of my albums I would still love to be released by a label. But I kind of think, I don't know how much point there is me even trying now, because I'm not someone who readily will be willing to go and tour and promote the records or anything. I basically shout about it on the internet and that is it. And I'm comfortable with that. I don't really want to be a touring musician. Don't enjoy gigging. But it would still be kind of nice if some label heard some of the other stuff. So actually, this we can get this to like 1,000 more listeners than you can. And we don't expect you to tour or anything for it. We just expect to take a cut in the sales and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm that bothered. This is kind of what I'm more interested in now, the art.
Well, I mean, I think the question of why anyone needs a label, especially at the sort of level I am and you, is something I think about. And I actually don't think that the main two guys that release my records would even be offended by hearing me say that. I mean, I have released some of my records myself. And I've certainly released some of those records with help and advice from them, even though they otherwise do my records. I think they would agree that I am perfectly capable of releasing my own records.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is something that comes back to our general theme of rejection and praise. In art and music, is that the reason why I it's validation, really. It's
Yeah.
if I go to the pub with Tom or John, because they are the two people their record labels are. Where it's at is where you are, and Fika. I don't know. It's just I'm not on my own. There's a little bit of validation. They're prepared to do it, and we have a little meeting in the pub, and we think about who should we send it to, and what should the video look like. And I think neither of them would mind me saying that there's a small element of pretend at this level. I mean, we obviously, hope to get it reviewed in places, and we do. But the main reason we're in that pub is because we, I don't know, we just like it. We just like thinking about plans and having these plans with someone. And I think for that reason, I really like having someone else in this process.
I think a label is
my own.
Well, I think a label is another voice to shout about the record, which I think we need. I'd be more interested in, actually. I've got a friend who's finally persuaded him to get one of his albums, his old albums from 95, I think. He had it on DAT for years, 30 years, not done anything with it. And I finally nagged him enough for him to get it taken off the DAT and get it put into a digital format so that he can release it online. And I think it's so good. I kind of want him to get a record deal, or I want a label to just release that one album more than I'm bothered about my own stuff coming out. Because he's got a quieter voice on the internet than I have. I'm quite active on Twitter. And I've got, it's nothing, is it? But I've got like 2,000 followers, which is probably about 1,090 more than he has. And it's kind of like, if I could get a label to listen to that, I would love that if his album got released on there. But again, it's the same thing. He doesn't really promote, doesn't tour or anything.
I'm very conscious.
Well, that's... Sorry?
No, go on, carry on, sorry.
Well, I would think that's a fair expectation upon a record label's part, that they would expect the artist to do some promotion, which would probably include live work and stuff. I think that would be very, a reasonable assumption from a label.
I don't know, actually. I mean, I think even that might actually be, in some ways, quite an old-fashioned way of thinking about things. I think there's plenty of people that do the sort of types of music that isn't able to be performed live that easily.
Yeah, true. I did once send... We sent a cassette to Key 103, which is a Manchester station. We'd written a football song, which was basically, looking back on it, was a cringingly embarrassing rip-off of Three Lions. And quite rightly, we heard nothing from them at all. But that's the only time. And I did get approached by a tiny little power pop label, actually a couple, a few years ago, and they've had like one of them wanted to put a compilation of my songs out from my first 2 albums, I think, and the other one wanted to include one of my tracks on a power pop compilation. This was a power pop label called Not Lame, that one, and they do loads and loads of power pop releases. So that was kind of nice. That was definitely validation, because I'd been following Not Lame for ages, and they approached me. I didn't go to them. It was always nice.
And this happened. It got released.
Yeah.
Like in what format?
CD.
Okay.
CD only. on a double CD. Again, no money in it, but I kind of knew that from the start that there wouldn't be.
Oh, I think I've worked out what you're drawing.
Go on.
Are you drawing? I'm going to pull my camera out a bit more because I feel like I keep moving my picture out. I'm going to do a bit more like that so you can see.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. I think you're drawing Blind Date.
I am. See, I knew we'd be talking about rejection. And how more public can rejection get but appearing on Blind Date?
Yeah, I guess.
And I
suppose was it kind of softened by the fact that they couldn't see you?
Yes, yeah, it was, yeah.
Actually,
yeah, I was trying to muse. I wanted to paint something that was about rejection, and it was my wife who said, "God, it sounds like Blind Date, this." And then I'm like, "Ah, I thought that is very me."
Actually, thinking about it, that was really brutal, wasn't it?
Well, you're being judged on your personality alone.
well, I don't know though. Are you? Because isn't the whole? Yeah, the idea is that like, judging it on the answers. Do you like the sound of her, Jeremy? Nigel. I can't remember what she used to say. But then the crunch came. Is that when it like. The actual sort of money shot of the program was all about looks, wasn't it? They revealed the screen.
That's true, yeah.
And in actual fact, it was only about looks, wasn't it? Because the thing was, is like, how well have you judged this person? And they would come around and say, look, you've rejected Karen. And then Karen would come out in a Viking helmet. And he'd go, oh, no, I really wanted a Viking.
Yeah, I love a Viking.
So wanted a Viking. I even said in my questionnaire for this, please, really want to date a Viking. Like, no, I'm sorry, Jeremy. Well, I've made quite a mess of this, but I suppose that's kind of in keeping with the Cadbury's Flake.
Yeah. So as you know, I've had to deal with some rejection yesterday as we film. It was very frustrating.
This is why we chose to do this. We decided on a little bit of therapy, didn't we?
Yeah, so I applied for a job a couple of weeks ago, which I basically had everything required. Lots of experience in the role, both in my employed life and my personal life.
Yeah.
And now I'm not very. I've always assumed I wasn't very good at doing job applications. They're back when I was at school, it was basically a job application was just, this is what I've done, give us a job. It was basically that. Things have moved on so much that you have to really target your application every time to make sure that it's specific to the job you're applying for.
Yeah.
And I once, a few years ago, had to apply for my own job for boring reasons I won't go into.
I have heard about this happening. I've had no experience of it.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And my first application got rejected by my managers, which was, you can imagine the mood I was in. I was livid. But a part of it kind of goes to show how difficult doing applications is. But this time round, I did a really good application. My wife checked it. She's really good at applications. And she gave me some pointers, but basically she was very pleased with it. And then I sent it on to a friend who'd offered to check it as well, who applies for a lot of stuff. He's a university lecturer, and he's an intelligent one. Some are less intelligent than others. And he was basically really impressed with the application.
You sometimes see that in the job adverts for university lectures, don't you? You sometimes see like wanted university lecture. But by the way, this is an application for one of the clever ones.
Yes.
We will not be seeing stupid university lecturers, so please take that into consideration when applying for this job.
Not the chances. He was like, "Oh, you've got an interview, definitely." And I got an email yesterday morning. Didn't even make the shortlist. At first I was very calm because I'd already said to Becky that if I don't get it, it means I've still got my part-time hours, because this was a full-time job I was going for. It means I still work part-time, and that's nice. And I genuinely said it means I'll still have plenty of time to film these videos, and I won't have to be worrying about juggling time or anything to do them, because I enjoy it. It's good.
Also, this is going to make us £1 million as soon as it
exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah. We're gonna make. I'm gonna be building my own space rocket in 12 months, Darren. So when I didn't get that, when I got the email about not being on the shortlist, then I was thinking, okay, well, I've still got all these things that I can do. And by the end of the day, I was fuming, absolutely fuming, really angry, swearing like a trooper, really, really fed up. And I think rightly so. But it seems like it's a job that someone already had their name down for it. It was already decided. For me to not get an interview is very strange, if that wasn't the case. Going off the amount of experience I've got. It's just we move on.
I really identify with that. I really identify with that journey of something bad happens. Almost initially in the moment, you can rationalize it. This is okay because, and this is okay because, and then you sort of talk to, the person closest to you, and you say, "No, I'm okay with it. Let's go. Let's do." And then gradually through the day, what you truly think about that, actually manifests itself slowly. And
it does. It was properly like, how dare they? How dare they do that?
Sometimes I think what you truly think about a situation manifests itself overnight. You go to bed thinking, "Oh, I'm glad I'm over that," and then you wake up in the next morning and go, "I am in no shape or form over that." I have thought of nothing else in my dreams, and it's the first thing I thought of as I wake up.
So I'm not over it now, but I'm more comfortable with it. I've stopped being angry, but I am. I've asked for feedback. I've not heard back yet. This was
being talked about. This situation has been talked about in email with you and a few friends.
Yeah,
and I must admit, and this might be just the fact that I don't have that much experience of these sort of things, but the idea of asking for feedback, I perhaps would have said, Jesus, I cannot think of anything worse than, so I suppose the sort of rejection I get is that, like, you send your record into Mojo or whatever, and then Lucy, who sometimes, not recently, but often does my press, will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mojo aren't reviewing your record this time round." The last thing I want her to do is say, exactly how that conversation went. In fact, actually, this reminds me. Oh my God, this has reminded me of something I forgot. That was weird, and I had to ask this guy to stop it.
Is this trigger warning? No.
No. It's fine. It's just. See, press. I feel for people that do press in the music business, because it's, you can work your ass off and get nothing, You know,
Yeah.
it can be the fault of the record. You know, it can be the record just nobody liked it, and that's why you didn't get a review.
Yeah.
But they have to sort of, what they do is, like I'm saying, is a press officer could work all the hours God sends. The album gets no review, and a lot of people go, "Oh well, that press officer was no good." It's a strange little job, you know. And so what one press officer did a few years ago is he did the equivalent of your job interview. He gave back all the feedback, because I think it was a way of him showing me and the record label how hard he was working.
Yeah.
So these emails would come through with Johnny Bobbins at Uncut Magazine says, no, never much cared for Hefner. Can't stand that fucking guy's voice. And, Fred Wallace at Mojo said, yeah, to be honest, like proper musicians are releasing records this month, so we haven't bothered. And it was awful. I sort of had to go to him, look, I do appreciate you're doing a hard job, but I really don't need to know why each and every person is saying no to my record.
Not that I actually want a job anyway. I think jobs are rubbish.
That's what you can hear now is a dog called Ryu. And these row of cottages, we have 3 dogs now. We have Ryu in the cottage further over there. In the cottage next door, we have Kip, a little black puppy, a little black Labrador puppy. And then here we have my dog, Minnie.
Love Minnie. I should say.
Yeah, she got.
Do we save that for another video?
Well, no. If you wait, I'll go and get her a rosette. You talk. I'll be back in a second.
I'll fill in. And now it's time for thought of the day. Wait, can't do this. Fill in. So I'm painting Blind Date, as you can see. I'm worried that page is very white, but I think you can make it out. They're also they're floating, aren't they? And I need to put some sort of background in, which I'll stick the floor in.
There you go.
There we go, and he's back.
But you're right, actually. I think I will tell the full story of this in another video.
Yeah. Is yours done?
I think it might be, you know.
Well, I think I'm nearly done. I need to put a floor in on this, which is just going to be a sweep of a brush.
I've sort of edited some layers out. There's actually a fence in front of this, and there's a plant here, but I've sort of imagined I'm behind it, because I think we've got enough planes coming forward. I mean, I suppose really, I said like you shouldn't really show what you're drawing, but it seems really cruel not to in this case, because it's right.
I think we should see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of coming and going, so I just didn't want to get the delivery man in shot. So there it is.
Look at that.
You can see here, there's these brown plants here in this fence.
Yeah.
But what I've sort of done is just done behind that. I've just done the wall. It's okay, isn't it? I suppose that's what we have to do in this video. We have to be honest about the cheating that's being done.
Is that wall dry stone?
Yeah. Nice. What I really like, which you can't see from here, and I'm worried I'll go out of Wi-Fi zone, but let me try and show you. What I really like is this. Can you see the row of trees here?
Yeah.
If you go at a certain angle, when there's less foliage here, it's like a row. Yeah. I've got a photograph. Actually, let me go and show you this photograph. Wait there. Fill in. I'll be back in a second.
He's off again. Darren's very restless today, isn't he? Viewers. I could probably say what I want about him. He never watches these back, I don't think. Very restless, up and down. What are you doing now? He's back again.
Yeah, this is a photograph I took.
Oh, nice.
I think I'm going to wait until I've done a very somber experimental album that can come out on the ECM label, and that'll be the cover.
Well, you just have done.
How's your painting going?
It's done. I feel like I'm not done all I want to on it. Don't know if I can bring it closer without going out of focus, but there we go. There's probably, in the way of singing theme sheet, it would be blind date, 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 blind date. Not do it all. There we go.
Very good. I hope everyone's found this chat helpful in coming to terms with rejection.
Yeah, I haven't.
Bye-bye, Darren.
Bye, Darren.